Welcome, everybody, to the fourth in my series on the Breeders' Cup Friday, Future Stars Friday races. I'm Jessica Tugwell, and today we're going to be talking about the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. All right, Future Stars Friday, race 8 on Saturday at Santa Anita is the Juvenile. It's going to be a mile and a 16th on the dirt, and we have 11 colts scheduled to contest this race. It's a pretty competitive event, I would think. There's no standout the way you have Tamara in the juvenile fillies. The morning line favorite here, Locked, is just 7-2. And I'm not even convinced he's definitely going to be the post-time favorite. We'll find out. We're going to go horse by horse through here, and then I will give some my selections, my thoughts on the race overall as a whole. So, starting out, the Wine Steward. He was a winner in his first 3 starts and was dead game in that Breeders' Futurity defeat. It looked like Locked was going to roll right by him, but he fought back on the rail, and which is a hard thing for a 2-year-old, a young horse, to do. So I liked that a lot. I love that he has steadily improving speed figures in all 4 starts, and I love this Curlin Bernardini cross. It's produced 19.6% stakes winners in 56 starters, including Grade 1 winners like Clairiere and Paris Lights. And in addition to that, he actually comes from the same female family as Curlin. So there's a lot to like here about the Wine Steward, both in pedigree and performance. The only thing I think there is to dislike about him is that rail draw for a horse who isn't lightning quick out of the gate and will be coming from probably, first run on the leaders, but he's going to have to work out a trip from that rail under Luis Saez. The 2 is Prince of Monaco. He's undefeated in 3 starts. He won the Del Mar Futurity, but he stretches out here for the first time. That Speightstown Deli d'Oro cross has been one of the most prominent nicks in the breed, with 12.5% stakes winners and 112 starters, including Grade 1 winners like Rockfall, Olympiad, Competition of Ideas, and Prince of Monaco himself. His dam is a half to stakes-winning sprinters Greeley's Rocket and Laurie's Rocket, which is a question mark here when combined with Speightstown, who we know can do absolutely anything. He can get a sprinter. He can get a router. The question is Prince of Monaco going to be a router? While I'm not convinced when it comes, further down the line, Kentucky Derby distance, I'm going to be a little more concerned about. But the mile and a 16th for a horse like this who isn't speed crazy the way a lot of Baffert's young horses sometimes are, he's shown that he has the ability to relax. And I think that that plays a big role in a horse's ability to get a distance, and especially a race like this, a distance like this. I think even up to a mile and an 1/8, I'm not super concerned about Prince of Monaco, but it is a question mark. It is an unknown for a horse who's 4-1 on the morning line. Next is Wind Me Up. This is the other Baffert. He's the quickest early of Baffert's runners and seems to be a need the lead type, but he was no match for Muth in the American Pharoah last time out, though he was a winner on debut going 6 furlongs. Though his sire, Vino Rosso, was best at 4, he was a winner in both of his 2-year-old starts, and his foals have actually been showing quite a bit of precocity. His dam, Dina Allen's Kitten, was a stakes winner, a minor stakes winner on the turf. So that could be an option even for Wind Me Up in the future if they so desire. I do think that he is the primary pace in here, though there is a horse in here who I think will press him later on. The 4 is Timberlake. He was the winner of the Grade 1 Champagne Stakes last time out in the slop, where he got a 93 buyer. And the question here with him is whether you can trust that figure. He was disappointing a little bit in the Hopeful, where which came back to be a pretty slow race. But prior to that, when he broke his maiden going 7 furlongs at Ellis Park, he did get an 87 for that 9 1/4 length victory. So the 93 kind of makes sense, but it is still a question mark. He's by Into Mischief, who is the sire of last year's Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner Wonder Wheel, and his dam was a winner at up to 14 furlongs on the turf. So when it comes down the road, while I usually have questions about distance for at least mile-and-a-quarter type distance with Into Mischief. This is a horse who I definitely am not going to be worried about that at all with. He has a huge route pedigree on the bottom, being out of that Looking at Lucky Mare pinup. But the question, like I said, is whether you can trust that Champagne figure. I lean toward it being legit, but it's hard to be 100% confident in Timberlake. The 5, Zikoro Neo, he's a maiden in 2 starts, but if you haven't seen that race at Hanshin last time out, he closed like a monster to just miss. That was going 6 furlongs, though, and this is a big step up. His first 4 dams are all stakes winners or stakes placed, and this Bernardini Street Sense Cross, while it hasn't produced a stakes winner, the reverse, Street Sense over Bernardini, has produced the likes of Grade 1 winners Maxfield and Speaker's Corner, so there's definitely some pedigree here for Coronio, and he showed a lot of ability in that maiden race last time out. I just don't know if that's good enough to give him a shot here in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. The 6 is the morning line favorite, Locked. He's 2 for 2 so far since stretching out in his second start, and he won the Grade 1 Breeders' Futurity last time out in that effort over the Wine Steward. This cross of Gunrunner out of a Malibu Moon Mare has been super productive. In just 6 starters, there are 3 stakes winners. In addition to Locked, Gunrunner has produced Shotgun Hottie and Runnin' Son of a Gun out of Mares by Malibu Moon. And his Dam Luna Rosa is a half-2 Grade 1 winner, Gabby's Golden Gal, and graded stakes winner, Always a Princess. So there is some ability here, some talent here for Locked, some pedigree, and he certainly has been pretty good, to say the least, in those 2 route attempts. And he's shown some versatility. He was pretty close to the pace in that in that maiden special weight win, but came from further back in the Breeders' Futurity. So if things get a little crazy up front, he can take back. If they let a horse like Wind Me Up kind of go and General Partner isn't going crazy after him, he can be right there behind them also. So I think that he is a deserving favorite in this spot. Cuban Thunder is the 7. He's shipping in from Ireland. He has only a maiden win in 6 starts and is trying dirt for the first time. There's a lot of question marks here. His sire, Profitable, was a Grade 1 winner, a Group 1 winner at 5 furlongs, and Damn Sire, Dragon Pulse, was a Grade Stakes winner at 2, going 7 furlongs. So he's stretching out for the first time past 7 furlongs. He is shipping in from Ireland. He is trying dirt for the first time, and he was beaten by 34 lengths in his only Group 1 attempt. So I do not need Cuban Thunder. The 8 is General Partner. He was the pace setter in the Champagne, but was clearly second best that day to Timberlake. This Spitetown Distorted Humor Cross has produced 6 stakes winners in 70 starters. That's 8.6%, including greatest stakes winning sprinters, Ginobili and Heartstealer. Both of General Partner's Dams wins came at 6 furlongs. So the question with him, he got a 92 buyer for that 7 furlong maiden special weight victory. But like I said, was clearly second best in the Champagne after setting the pace. I expect him to give some pressure to Wind Me Up on the front end, but I'm not convinced that the extra 16th of a mile does him any favors here. Next is Fierceness, the 9. He was highly regarded in that debut win. He won by 11.25 lengths, but disappointed at odds on in the Champagne. In both of his races, he's never raced on a fast track. His first start was on a muddy track, and that Champagne was on a sloppy track. His dam is a half-2 Wood Memorial winner Outwork, and he's by City of Light. So there is some interesting stuff going on here. His second dam was 3rd in the Grade 1 Frisette as a 2-year-old, so there's some precocity there. And the thing is, I want a little more than 6-1 on Fierceness off of that kind of too bad to be true effort in the Champagne. If we could get more like 8-10 to 1, he's one who I might be a little bit interested in, just because, like I said, that Champagne effort was just kind of too bad to be true. He lunged at the start and just never really showed up. So maybe if he runs back to that debut win, he certainly is a factor here. The 10 is Muth. He was an easy winner of the American Pharoah Stakes over Wind Me Up, and was a $2 million 2-year-old who breezed a furlong in 9.3 seconds at OBS March. I think that he's kind of still riding that a little bit. I'm not sure. I feel like on the West Coast, it's just kind of like there's Bob Baffert has the good horses, and then everyone else is just trying to get a piece of it. So I'm not really sure what he was beating in the American Pharaoh. BU is all right, but he's kind of been getting beaten since he was impressive early on in his career, like his first start. I want to say BU was doing things, but hasn't really shown a whole lot. And while Muth definitely very handily beat him, I'm just not sure. He got beat by Prince of Monaco in the best pal going 6 furlongs. But being by good magic out of an Uncle Mo mare, you'd kind of think that the 2 turns is going to be more his game anyway. And I do like that there is some interesting line breeding in his dam. He shares a female family with his dam sire, Uncle Mo's sire, Indian Charlie. And I always like seeing that kind of female family line breeding on the bottom. So I think that he's a really good horse. I'm not sold on him yet, to be honest. I'm just not convinced he is that good. He will probably be, if any horse beats me in here, it'll be Muth, and I will take my L and move on with the day. The 11 is Noted. He was a winner of the Sapling Stakes at Monmouth in his only dirt try. His other 3 starts have all been on turf. His dam is a full sister to multiple graded stakes winner Mark Valesky, and his sire Cairo Prince was a winner of the grade 2 Nashua at 2. So there's a little bit of precocity there as well. He looks like a long shot to me. Probably be coming from mid pack and trying to make a run, but I don't need Noted in this spot. So what are we looking at here? I think Locked makes a lot of sense. You have to respect the Bafferts, especially Prince of Monaco and Muth. But like I said, I'm not 100% convinced of the quality of the West Coast 2-year-olds. But they do have kind of that home field advantage. Muth has 2 wins over the track. So of the 2, he's the one I would kind of lean toward giving more of a shot. If I really want to be safe, I feel like you can't leave them off. But I do think that Locked makes a lot of sense. And I was kind of surprised that I really like the Wine Steward in here, to the point where I decided he's my top pick. I love the steadily improving speed figures on a 2-year-old. And he's shown that with a step up in each of his 4 starts. If he steps forward again here, I think he can turn the tables on Locked, who is a deserving favorite, seems to be very good. And I'm gonna just kind of stick with those 2 in this race. I mean, obviously, I could make a case for Timberlake, Muth, and Prince of Monaco, but I kind of want to take a stand somewhere in this series of videos I'm doing, and this is the race where I'm gonna do it. I definitely feel like even if he doesn't win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, I think that the Wine Steward is a horse that you have to pay a ton of attention to on the Kentucky Derby trail moving forward. I think that the distance is going to suit him. There's a little bit of a question with To Honor and Serve on the bottom, about 1.25 miles, but at least leading up to the Derby, I think you're going to see a lot more from the Wine Steward as a 3-year-old. I think he's going to get better with age. And he's the kind of horse, I think he was 30 to 1 on the morning line for the first Breeders' Cup or Kentucky Derby future wager. And I'll be throwing $5 on him for just that, because I think that if he makes the gate in the Derby, you're going to be getting a lot less than 30 to 1. But what do you think of this race? Who do you like in here? Am I a fool for leaving off Baffert in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile? Probably. But we're going to do it anyway. We're going to go for it. And yeah, there's a ton of other content that we're doing here on the channel for Breeders' Cup. Make sure you check those out. We got the Pick 5 Players show. We got full field rundowns. We've got Colin with his big board. There's a ton of stuff going on. And of course, we have our live stream that we're going to be doing from the beginning of Breeders' Cup Friday all the way through the races on Saturday. Make sure you check that out. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.